Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance. This is a game from the Pro Chess League 2023 and this is a game played between Hikaru Nakamura and a woman grandmaster Yosefine Hainemann, and definitely what an insane game it is. And this game is a clear example of when you're attacking and that attack does not go as the way you planned, how it could be catastrophic for you. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Yosefine starts with e4, Hikaru goes d6, d4, and even on move 3, Hikaru starts to play aggressive chess and he goes for f5 in this position. Okay, Yosefine just captures, e captures, and bishop captures, and Yosefine just plays bishop to d3, and Hikaru goes for queen to d7, knight to f3, knight to f6, and we see a trade. Bishop captures, queen captures, and Yosefine just castles in this position. Hikaru develops his final knight, he goes for knight to c6, Yosefine goes for c3, Hikaru plays e5, and there are a lot of moves as white you can play for in this position. You can go for something like d5, grabbing some space, or you can just cap. Yosefine chooses the latter and she goes for d captures. D captures and rook to e1. Hikaru goes for bishop to d6 as he definitely wants to castle queenside as he wants to attack the white king, and Yosefine just plays a calm move and she goes for h3. Hikaru castles queenside. And the best move for Yosefine in this position would be something like knight to h4, just pushing the queen back. And once the queen moves back, you go for something like bishop to g5, going for some development, and the game goes on with both players having equal chances. But Yosefine instead goes for queen to e2, as you definitely don't want to keep that queen under the mask of that rook. But this gives Hikaru an advantage right from the opening, and he goes for it. Hikaru goes for e4 in this position. Yosefine goes for knight to h2. Knight to d4 would still be an improvement, but okay, Yosefine goes for knight to h2, Hikaru goes for knight to e5, bishop to e3, and Hikaru goes for knight to d3. Now your rook is under attack, Yosefine goes for rook to d1, and Hikaru immediately strikes with h5. And now Hikaru is going to push g5, g4, and definitely wants to open lines against the white king. And white is still behind development, so Yosefine tries knight to a3, but this just simply does not work. And Hikaru here can opt for a huge advantage right from move 17 if he goes for this bishop captures on a3, and yes, even parting with your dark squared bishop, because after b captures you have this very nice knight to d5. Now you know that knight captures on c3 is coming, so there's not many ways to defend it. And if you go for something like queen to d2, black has this rook to f8, and now there's too much pressure on this f2 square. And now if white decides to execute the c4, you can just simply go for knight to f4. And now white has to capture as there's nothing better. So after knight captures as your queen is under attack, you go for something like queen to e3, but now comes this very strong queen to g5. Now with all these pieces extraying the white king, it's gonna get very difficult to hold this position, especially with Hikaru playing with the black pieces. But Hikaru doesn't go for it, and Hikaru immediately jumps in with g5. Yosefine gets the knight into the game. Yosefine goes for knight to c4, and Hikaru calculates precisely as he goes for bishop captures on h2, king captures, and he executes this very nice g4, as you don't want to allow Hikaru to open up lines against your king. So Yosefine goes for h4, but Hikaru goes for knight to d5, trying to get as many pieces against the white king, as you have to get the attack going and you don't want to allow that g3 to come with a check. So Yosefine goes for king to g1, but Hikaru goes for a very odd move in this position as he plays this very slow a6, and that will just simply not do in this position. As Yosefine goes for rook to d2, she plans to double up rooks on the d file. Hikaru goes for rook to g8, supporting that g3 thrust, and Yosefine goes as planned. She goes for rook to d1, doubling up rooks on the d file. And to win this game, Hikaru has to find a very impossible move in this position. So pause the video and win the game for Hikaru while I give you a couple of seconds. So congratulations to everyone who was able to find this move, and the move is very impossible to find, that is b5. Definitely you just don't find this move in a rapid game, as you have to look a lot moves in the future. After white goes for something like knight to a5, you have this very nice g3, and if white decides to go for something like f3, you just move the queen back with queen to f6 going for this maneuver. But if white decide to go for something like bishop to g5 to try and win material, you just don't care. You simply sacrifice the exchange with the rook captures, and after pawn captures, instead of recapturing here, you go for this queen to b6 check, nicely connecting with the rook and winning material. But Hikaru doesn't go for it, and Hikaru goes for g3 right away, and it does not work. And it does not work for a very important reason, as Yosefine shows how, as she goes for f3. Hikaru goes for queen to f6, and Yosefine goes for bishop to g5. And Hikaru sacrificed the exchange, going as planned. Rook captures on g5, h captures, and queen captures. But now Yosefine gets this very nice queen captures on e4, guarding the h4 square. But Hikaru finds this knight to f4, blocking that queen and still going for that queen to h4. But now Yosefine finds the very brilliant defensive resource, as she goes for knight to e3. And now it not only puts pressure on that d5 knight, but also serves as a very important defender, as Hikaru goes as planned and he goes for queen to h4, but Yosefine just goes for knight to f1, defending all the important squares. And now Hikaru has absolutely nothing in this position, but he still tries a few more moves as he goes for c6. Yosefine goes for c4. Now she's gonna win the d5 knight as well, but Hikaru tries a few more moves. He goes for rook to d7. Yosefine goes for c captures, rook to e7 attacking the queen, but Yosefine goes for queen to f5 check, king to b8 and d captures. Hikaru goes for knight to e2 check, but Yosefine just sacrifices the exchange. Rook captures, and Yosefine goes for king to f8 check, king to c7, queen to d6, king to b6, and Yosefine goes for the very crushing c7 with a check. And Hikaru goes for king to a7, but Yosefine just brings out another queen with c8 queen. And it was on this move, on move 37, that Hikaru Nakamura resigned the game. And what a magnificent victory for Yosefine in this insane game. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming up with another amazing game from the chess world, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you all.